On the top bunk, I found a little girl.
All right. And could you tell anything about the little girl?
She was laying on her side, facing towards me. She was laying in blood, and she had a bullet hole in the center of her forehead.
This morning, we're in Florida for the Bedtime murder trial for defendant Jermaine Bass. Welcome to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. So Mr. Bass is accused of shooting his two beautiful young children, killing one of them, his 5-year-old daughter, Jayla. His 8-year-old son survived. Here's a live look at the courtroom. Mr. Bass being led in to be seated next to his attorneys at the defense table, looking very sharp again today. I was commenting yesterday how sharp he looked. That's exactly how you dress for trial. A sharp suit. He's got the eyeglasses on. Didn't have eyeglasses on in his mugshot, but a lot of times, you know, we see that happening in the courtroom. The defendants sometimes look a little more, I don't know, academic, shall we say. Getting the hand sanitizer going, that's always a good idea when you're coming from the holding area. And, oh, he put it on his face. Oh, my. Oh, didn't expect that. All right. Just think that would burn a little bit. Okay, so while we get ready for day number 2 of this trial to kick off, we're in Hillsborough County, Florida for this one. Our editors have put together the very best moments from day number 1. Let's take a look together now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see this was no accident. This was not an accident. 5 shots from that Glock. 4 hit their target. 3 of them went into the head of Jayla Bass, his daughter, his 5-year-old daughter, as she lay in the bed right next to her brother, who was also shot in the head, in the temple. She's going to tell you they were right next to each other when they were shot. The last moments of Jayla's life was laying in that bed next to her big brother. An accidental discharge of 5 rounds. This isn't an automatic gun where you hold it down and it just fires repeatedly. You're going to hear from the firearms expert. Every single one of those 5 shots had to pull that trigger. This was no accident, ladies and gentlemen. Not even close. This was a deliberate, intentional, premeditated act to kill those 2 children.
Jermaine Bass, my client, did not shoot his children. What happened on August 29, 2022 was tragic. He says that he does not remember what happened on that night. And that's where we're left. You're not going to hear from JJ. At the end of the case, after listening to all the evidence and the law, you will agree and find Jermaine Bass not guilty.
911, do you need police, fire, or medical?
Hey, how you doing? It's a emergency. I heard some gunshots in my neighborhood.
Okay.
I heard a couple, but maybe downstairs said they told me bad is happening. I don't know. I just heard a gunshot. I did.
Stop talking your brief. Just stop talking your brief. Yes, I understand that. I can't stand it. All right, I'm getting on you on the phone.
Hey, can you hear me? They're here. They're coming. Yeah, they're cleaning upstairs. We cleaned downstairs. It's okay. Not yet. Gotcha.
Okay. What's going upstairs?
Hey, what's upstairs? There's worse upstairs.
Okay. Adult?
No, juvenile, female.
Okay.
So you're saying that whatever happened to him, is that your son? Both of those are my kids. Both of those are your kids. So it accidentally discharged and hit your son. What happened to your daughter upstairs?
The same thing. They was both in the bed together.
Just one round. They were both in the bed together?
Yes. I think I heard, you know what?
You're saying both kids were in the bed together and you were in their room?
I was in there.
So that was a look at day number 1. We're getting ready for day number 2. The judge is not yet on the bench in the courtroom, but as soon as Her Honor is there, we're going to go in there together live and watch this one. Again, this is Hillsborough County, Florida, where this defendant is on trial. What do you see with this case as you look at the facts? Do you see a domestic violence dynamic at play? From the facts that were conveyed by law enforcement, Shirley Bass, the defendant's wife and the mother of those beautiful children, was out to dinner with friends that night. And the defendant apparently went out and followed her, was following her home in his car, according to police, tailgating her, exhibiting some bizarre behavior, shall we say, before they all got back to the house. But I feel like there's so many blanks in this story. There's just so much more that needs to be filled in. What exactly happened? What leads to the shooting in the kids' bedroom while the children are side by side, sound asleep? They've been tucked in for the night in a safe place. And this guy tells police that he's changing the magazine, taking the magazine out of his gun, and accidentally fires 5 shots. Baloney. Let's bring in domestic violence expert, former law enforcement officer, somebody who's great with firearms, Claudia King. Claudia, good morning to you. All right, let's start first with whether you see any domestic violence dynamic possibly at play here.
Good morning, Julie. I do think there is that possible dynamic because, as you mentioned, he was following her that night. Maybe he thought there was an affair going on or didn't believe where she said she was going. And ultimately, again, as you know, when the abuser feels like they're losing ultimate control, that's when they often snap. So it's very possible that this defendant took away what meant most to Shirley, and what more could that be than her kids? So rather than, killing her, he may have said, well, I'm not going to kill you. That's too easy. I'm going to take away everything from you, and that would be her children.
Power and control, possibly by using the kids, huh, Claudia? Is that more common than people maybe realize?
It really is. A lot of times kids are used as pawns, which is so unfortunate, but they get wrapped up in the cycle of abuse even when they're not directly being abused. Oftentimes, abusers will try to seek custody of the kids. They'll tell the victim, if you leave me, I'll make sure you never get those kids. I'll lie to the court. I'll do whatever it takes to keep you away from them. So that's the tool that they use to keep the victim in check in their mind. It's so unfortunate, but yes, when there are children and pets as well, they're often used as control devices for the abuser. There's a statistic that even with pets, 50% of victims will delay their leaving because they're afraid to leave a pet behind. So think of how much more they will do to not leave a child behind.
Oh, you're so right, Claudia. This is such great information you're sharing now as we're looking live at the courtroom. For anybody wondering, this is what's happening right now. As you can see, it's quiet, and the defendant just conferring with his attorney. As you said, Claudia, some DV shelters are even now more focused on offering resources for pets in case someone needs to just grab their dog or their cat and go in a situation. Many of these shelters can use things like leashes, water bowls, food bowls, cat or dog beds, things like that. So certainly something to think about for anyone who may want to give back to their local DV shelter. Those places, they do the work of God. I tell you what, I've had the honor of volunteering with one, and it's mind-blowing, the things that they do and the things you don't think about when you have to give up all your worldly possessions just to get to safety. Claudia, speaking of safety, let's turn to the issue of firearm safety. What do you think about this story this defendant is telling? with that Glock. It's a Glock 42, holds .380 ammunition. He's claiming that he was taking the magazine out in his kid's bedroom and had trouble and accidentally fired 5 rounds. What do you think?
I think there's a better chance of him winning the lottery while being struck by lightning than having such a malfunction occur. The majority of malfunctions with firearms anyway cause the firearm not to fire. The malfunction that would cause it to fire is very, very low in the terms of malfunctions. So this just sounds ridiculous to me. And another thing, why are we even manipulating the weapon in the children's bedroom in the first place? None of this makes sense at all.
Right, Claudia. Let's keep talking about that. So let's just say that after he tucks his kids into bed, that he wants to take out the baby Glock and take the magazine out, unload it for whatever reason. Where might be a good place to do that? How might you do that safely?
Well, not in the kid's bedroom. That's the first thing. You know, go in your own room or go in the basement if you have one. And one of the first rules of firearm safety, you always point the gun in a safe direction. So even when you're around other people or by yourself, you want to point it down and away from anyone when you're going to remove the magazine. I know that you are quite the firearm shooter yourself, Julie, and you know the rules of safety is you never point the gun at anything. You always treat it as if it's loaded and that you can destroy whatever you're pointing that firearm at. So until you're ready to destroy what that weapon is pointed at, you don't point it, whether or not you're even going to put your finger on the trigger.
Claudia, thank you for that. Thank you for the kind compliments. I'm nowhere near as good as you are with a firearm, but a work in progress. And I was training the other day with our mutual friend, firearms expert Jason Piccolo, who always compliments you, Claudia, and what a great shooter you are. And I have that gun that this guy says that he accidentally discharged in his house. And I was coming, it's very small, it's very light, it's the smallest model, as you know, Claudia, that Glock makes. I was even questioning whether it's his gun. I was thinking to myself, if you want a gun to conceal, that's a good gun to do it if you're a guy, but also a lot of women like that gun, don't they? Because it's tiny and the recoil isn't bad.
Absolutely. It's a great concealed carry weapon for women. It's, as you said, it's very small. You would be able to conceal it in many different places, whether it's a purse or on your body. So we may find out at some point that this is Shirley's gun or a gun that he acquired from somebody else. So it's going to be really interesting to see that unfold. But at the end of the day, none of that explains why he pointed this gun at his babies and pulled the trigger 5 times.
Right, Claudia. I have so many more questions for you. Let's talk as well after the break about gunshot residue, because as you were talking, it got me thinking, I wonder if they swabbed his hands or her hands, Shirley's hands, just to see if anybody had any GSR on them. Claudia King, you're the best.